Airbnb versus hotel.
Oh, there you go.
Let's see. It says we're live. Let's see what it does. Yeah, I got those texts from you like, "Hey, are you on?" I was like, "Oh, I'm a."
No, because I was screwing with the guys or whoever it was. I'm like, make sure it's not him.
Yeah, you sent me those texts, and I was at dinner, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to log in? You're gonna log on? Like, it's no big deal." It's like, "No, I don't think you wanted me on this thing."
Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Radio Network with Mr. Texas Real Estate Jason Bible and Mr. California Investor Robert Orfino. Join us as Jason and Robert talk about the hottest real estate market in the country, the entire state of Texas. Learn why Texas is such a great market to invest in and why it could be strong for years to come. Get ready to talk all things Texas on your new home on the way to the office. Texas Real Estate Radio.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert and Jason here from Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
I tortured myself. I went and had sushi last night, and I'm like, this is not like LA sushi. It's good.
Dory's on Ventura Boulevard in Encino?
Yeah, I just jumped on the plane. No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was good. It was just like, and who I was having dinner with, I was like, just wait. We'll go to LA, and the sushi there is ridiculous. They were like, hey, what do you order? I'm like, I don't order anything. I let Rob do all the ordering. I just sit there and shove it right in my face. That's how that works.
That was a regular Friday night for, I don't know, about 7 years for us.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Would you go down to that place that we went to? Or would you go?
I would go that one. I thought the hot sauce was perfect there. And I thought any of the tempura stuff was the best I could find. So I liked it, yeah.
And it's very much like, I remember when we went, you're like, this is the best place. It's very hole-in-the-wallish, right?
It sure is, yeah, small.
It's this little, like, shotgun style, like...
Maybe 40, 50 people in there.
Yeah, they kind of shoved it in between.
Really
like
shoved it in,
a nail salon and something else, right?
Exactly.
And you're like, this is the best in LA. I'm like, really? Okay, well, I mean...
Well, at that
right,
price
point,
at that price point, it was absolutely the best.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hotels versus Airbnb. Funny little news blurb came out yesterday that we talked about on the market update yesterday. If you guys are listening to the show and you're wondering, like, how do you guys ever do market updates? Do you talk about what's going on in the marketplace? We do it Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and we're hosting that on YouTube. So, if you go over to the Mr. Texas Real Estate Network page on YouTube, you can follow us there. So, and we bring out articles and we share with you guys what those articles are, and then Rob and I will give you some color commentary, if you will, on why why we're using that article or why what they're talking about in that article is not correct. So, in any case, very interesting article. We invest in Airbnb. We buy properties and Airbnb them. We're doing really, really well right now. Weren't doing so well at the beginning of the year. Now we're doing absolutely fantastic. And one of the fascinating bits of data from the article yesterday was, I want to say, hotels were down 65%, like for the month of June, something ridiculous like that. This is national data, by the way. So hotels were down 65%, and Airbnb was only down 4.5%. Now, you've got to take that news with a grain of salt, if you will, and keep in mind that there are some markets that Airbnb has completely shut down. So there were markets in Florida, they literally just, if you were in an Airbnb, they told you to go home. I mean, that's how crazy it kind of got for a while there. So some of these submarkets are completely closed down. So even with those markets closed, they were only down 4.5% as compared to hotels that were down 65%. So it was really just a wild article to show the difference between being in a hotel. And the real numbers they compared were hotels compared to one-bedroom condos and studios. So they tried to get an apple and orange, or they tried to get apple to apple comparison for something similar to hotel. Now, when you look at houses, because that's what Rob and I primarily invest in, are houses. We've got some condos that are down by the beach, but the vast majority of our Airbnbs are houses. and those have just done phenomenally well over the last couple of months.
Yeah, we are. Again, we're averaging about $200 a night, and we're somewhere between 85 and 93% full,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So you guys
ridiculous.
can reverse the math there, but we're having good months. And one of them we're averaging $250 a night.
Is that raise?
Yeah, so we have to, so what we need to do in the next few weeks is analyze why that's at $250 and why the other one's at $203. What's the difference? Is it the photography? Is it something in the description? Because the other one's technically closer to the beach.
Yeah,
so we got to really figure out what's the difference there. Just do some analyzation and just go through line by line by line. Spend about a couple hours on it and then figure out, oh, hey, here are three big differences between this listing and that listing, and it might come down to the pictures because it was just not well lit. The hurricane shutters in the other place are closing a lot of them, and two windows are kind of stuck. So they're not egress windows, but they're just kind of down.
Yeah, you don't want to egress out of any of those beach houses out there.
No, you drop down 14 feet. So.
Yeah, what's funny is technically it is closer to the beach.
Yeah.
And I could drive a golf ball with a 7-iron from one house to the next, right? And to the beach. So it's
a good 5-wood to the beach.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. So in any case, they're literally they're almost across the street from each other, right? But it is interesting that one does so much better than the other one.
And then is it the perks? Is it those little things? Because we did our Q&A last night, and a lot of folks are like, hey, how do I invest in Stone Mountain, Georgia? How do I invest in the Lake Country? How do I invest in,
I don't know.
I'm like, I have no idea. It's like, well, can I find a management company? I'm like, you probably can, but the problem is with Airbnb is you maximize profits on the little things.
Yes.
Having a flashlight available, having a set of scissors in the drawer, right? Just making it feel as close to their own home as possible. And I have yet to find any management company that goes to those extents. And so I think a lot of folks want to look at it like a single family rental and set it and forget it and just have the property manager call when there's a problem. I don't think that works to maximize profits. Now, if you want to carry it, I think you can set it and forget it and be better than a single family rental, but not much better.
The other way I look at it too is thank God we're not invested in those markets.
Yeah,
Because I think that's a huge problem, right? Where it's, I want to be in this, uber little cutesy mountain town or lake or whatever it is. And it's like,
where do you like to vacation?
Right, where you like to vacation. And then the question is, who's vacationing there now? Because the Airbnb, the co-founder of Airbnb had a fantastic interview that we shared on our market update about a month ago where he said, look, our data is telling us most people are not traveling any further than 200 miles from their home.
Yeah.
So if you're going to these submarkets, you need to have a major metro within 200 miles. If you don't, you're just wasting your time.
Yep.
So if I were in somebody else's shoes, it's like, or here's the way we do it, right? We've got this rental portfolio, and oh, by the way, the Airbnb is, I got a rental property here next door. I have an Airbnb. In fact, I was at our Heights property yesterday. Again, if you guys want to go to our YouTube channel, you can see this stuff from yesterday. But I walked our fourplex, and I shared with everybody. I said, we're probably going to take the front two units. Front two units are going to be Airbnb, and the 2 units in the back are going to be regular rentals. And the regular rentals are going to cover the cost of this, and then Airbnb is going to
pretty close. Yep.
Yeah. So the whole idea is like, I'd love to have this little place out here. And it's like, it's not, unless it's travel club. Travel club's a whole different thing. Travel club, I just don't see the value in having like a random vacation rental somewhere that you've got to find a management company for and go through that whole process.
Yeah, and I've yet to hear anyone tell me, and I'd love to know who if there is, please let me know. I've got a great management company for Airbnb. Anyway, we'll talk more about this when we come back from the break. This is Robert and Jason. This is Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
We are live, right? Did you see the video on your phone?
Yeah, we're definitely live.
Oh, we're definitely live.
Link it.
Oh, okay.
Chat us?
Oh, I'm on the wrong tab. That's why. Hey, there we go.
Subscribe there, please. I'll have her go in today and change all the meetups now to the YouTube channel and subscribe, and I'll do a blast. Have her do a blast. Now, no longer be doing it on.
Ready?
Anyway, back to Airbnb. What we were saying was, I've never heard anyone tell me, hey, I've got a fantastic management company. They have cranking the management, and I'm making so much money hand over fist. It has always been the opposite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think I should be making more. I hear what you guys are saying you're making, and I have a property. I went down there and bought a property too. Oh, really? That's great. Good. What's it look like? Well, I have a management company running. Oh, okay. And we have managers run our stuff at the beach because we need cleaners and we need handyman stuff, and we didn't have boots on the ground. That's kind of changed right now, but still we're bringing in, I don't know, 70% of the gross. Mm-hmm. So overall, with cleaning and supplies and the management fee, it's about 30% overhead. And if you're making $6,000 a month gross and you're taking home $4,200 of it, it's a happy day.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, it's double your mortgage payments.
Especially when you look at the revenue per square foot, it's just ridiculous.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy.
And the other
$4.
Yeah, one of the other things I think a lot of people miss with Airbnb is the fact that these properties are gorgeous all the time.
Yeah, that's part of it. You got to keep it like that, right? And so that's why we keep telling people, hey man, it is absolutely more time intensive. You can't run it like a single family, but again, so what? What does that mean? I mean, you got to run down to the beach once a week?
That's terrible.
Right?
In fact, I need to run down there. I was thinking about running down there this weekend for one of the units. Oh, I need to send our guy a text to make sure it's clean. But yeah, I'm going to run down to one of our small ones this weekend.
Nice. You can actually try and stay there?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So I got all those.
That's rough.
I got all those sheets and stuff.
Oh, good.
I'm just going to take some of the stuff out of the Heights place and then take it down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go down there for like a Friday night.
Sure.
Run around the beach for a day and head back. I mean, it's a tough life, man. Here's the other thing too is we're typically in markets with our Airbnbs, and we knew the appreciation was going to be good.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was going to be 30% good. So we literally bought a house for what do we pay for that thing? 205?
202.
202. Mm-hmm. And the property across the street, exact same house, is pending right now for just under 260.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I got two of those exactly the same size. Right?
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So we made
$120,000 on two houses in a year.
Which is actually we made more on Crane because we bought it for like 180, 190.
Yeah, about 190. Yeah.
So we're at 70 on that one and 60 at the one across the street. We made $130,000 on two beach houses. I mean, how do you say no to that? I mean,
Well, in the first 6 months, cash flow was rough, right? We had to put money in, keep it afloat, but we did have reserve. And then we thought we were turning the corner, and then boom, COVID happened and slowed down everything again.
Yes.
And now finally we're hitting it with on all strides, and it's taken 1 year, and we keep telling folks
it's a year.
It's a year. Just gotta wait the year, and I think the folks in our world that are prone to go out and try Airbnb have expectations of making cash flow in 90 days. Right? It's like, hey, I had this house that didn't sell, and I went around and bought $10,000 worth of furniture, and I put it on Airbnb, and then like 90 days, it's still not making any money. It's like, I've heard that story many, many times. There's a whole other show that loves to bring those people on, but they never ask the right questions.
That's right.
Who managed it?
Right.
Who did the description? Who does the marketing for it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just Airbnb. Wait, you have to do more marketing outside Airbnb? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Who's doing all those things? Right? And then, okay, so of course you found. It's like you come to me telling me, hey man, this flipping thing, Jason, you keep talking about, these 500 flips, doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Well, why doesn't it work? Well, I didn't have any money to finish the bathroom, so I put the house on the market without a bathroom.
I'm like, you can't do
And
that.
I couldn't sell it. So clearly flipping doesn't work.
Right.
It's like you missed a few things there, guys, but that's okay. We are teaching it. George and I and Jason, we work together. If you're interested in learning about Airbnb, text us at 281-401-9008. We do it inside our mastermind, and we have very specific classes built for that outside the mastermind. So 281-401-9008. If you want to learn about Airbnb, want to work with a group that's actually doing it, 281-401-9008. And again, for us, we believe that every one of our mastermind students should have 10 single-family houses.
Yes.
And we need those to run out as long as we can before the taxes catch up with the cash flow.
That's right.
So if you don't understand what we're talking about, you buy a house for $100,000 and you rent it for $1,000. With the mortgage and the insurance and all that other stuff, you make about $200 in cash flow. But when the taxes start going up, so when that house is now worth $150, and the taxes have increased to the point where you're only making $75 a month, it's time to do something different with that asset.
Yeah, and at that time, it's like, hey, it's time to sell this thing.
Yes.
Because it's appreciated so much, it's like, all right, time to move on to the next one.
Or,
there's an or here.
Or you can put it out as an Airbnb and extend it out another 5 years.
There you go.
So when you extend that out another 5 years for your because now you have more income and you're beating the taxes and still cash flowing, all of a sudden when you extend that out even further, you can sit on that property to watch it grow and grow and grow and grow. You don't have to get out of it at, let's say, $50,000 in appreciation. You can wait and bide your time a little bit longer because you've done Airbnb. So while we believe that everyone should have 10 single-family homes, we also believe that Airbnb is a tool that will allow folks to extend the life of their rental property cash flow-wise. And that's super important because at the end of this run, what we want to do is sell half the portfolio to have the other half of the portfolio free and clear. And that's the core belief of our mastermind. And so why do we teach Airbnb? Why do we talk about Airbnb? So we can extend the appreciation time in a single-family property. So at the end of that timeline, you can simply sell half of it to pay off the other half. And then you're sitting with 5 single-family properties free and clear.
Yeah.
Whether you continue to do Airbnb with them or not, it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, how many folks would love to have, a handful of duplexes free and clear that are worth $500,000 each, right?
Right.
I mean, that's essentially what we're doing in some of the
going
submarkets,
for,
right? So Airbnb, a portion of it, keep the other portion as long-term rental property, and 5 of those is, $500,000 is $2.5 million, right? You don't have to. There's this whole idea that you've got to go with these huge assets, these big deals, and it's like you really don't to make a few $1 million. You just need to buy the right assets in the right marketplace, and that completely goes against conventional wisdom, where it's like I got to buy 100 of these things. I'm like, no, you really don't.
Right.
You buy 15 or 20, sell half, and then pay the other half off, right?
And that's a big thing about buying a home. Because I think you're right. I think a lot of people get into it thinking, I've got to get like 100 houses. I've got to get 100 doors. These big, big numbers. And it's like, no. It's like, hey, man, you're an engineer, right?
Yeah.
Or you're a doctor, or you work in the medical world, and you don't have time to go out and build a 100-door portfolio.
That's a really good point where a lot of people miss, where it's like, or even to go buy a 100-unit apartment complex.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
The due diligence is a ton of work, right?
Yes. So when we get back from the break, we'll talk more about why we mix Airbnb into everything that we're doing. The fact that it does take a little bit more time, but the benefits that it extends out your portfolio appreciation time is huge. This is Robert Jason's Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back. Are there any that are repeating that you can identify? And if so, put a list together, and I'll take care of that first. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Likes and loves on Facebook. If you haven't already moved over to YouTube and subscribed, please do so. We will be moving full-time to YouTube in the near future. Ready to go?
Let's do it. Is it pancakes or 2-meat plate today?
I'm not all that hungry.
Mm.
I'm not. I think I ate pretty well yesterday. There's a couple pieces of bread in there, but I did have a big salad for dinner.
You're still full from the salad?
Well, that was part of it. The other part was I had half a plate of lasagna.
Oh. Yeah, I had a salad.
I had a big salad, and I ate the salad first, and then I had a half a plate of lasagna.
That's funny.
So we split the lasagna. Anyway, we're talking about Airbnb and your portfolio and all that good stuff. And so, again, no secret. It's going to take a little more time. But if you're managing 5 of those, I think that's really doable.
Yes.
I think you can manage 5, especially if you're getting closer or if you're semi-retired. That's probably the world that will make the most sense for you guys. You'll see some cash flow after a year. You'll see some appreciation. You can hold on to them. And, it's not a bad job. Going out deciding what bottle of wine and cookies and chocolate you're going to put into your things, and when there is a problem, calling the handyman. Not a bad semi-retirement. Yeah.
And the cash flow is ridiculous as compared to a rental property.
Yes, as compared to a rental property, it's absolutely phenomenal. So again, inside our mastermind, when we have folks in our mastermind that are wildly successful and everywhere outside of real estate and some inside real estate. And so what we do with these folks is say, hey, you're an engineer over at Halliburton or Exxon or BP or somewhere, and you don't have time to build out a 100-door portfolio, nor are you really looking to take down a big 250-unit apartment building, even though you've been to all those rooms. You're just trying to figure it out. And what folks do is they come to us and we say, hey, we can figure this out for you. It's really, let's just go buy 10 buildings. Maybe there's duplexes, there's a combination. But let's call it 20 doors at the end of the day. And if we have to run some Airbnb to extend it out, maybe your spouse or your children want to help you run the Airbnb, extend it out. And at the end of that 5 to 7 years, you sell half to pay the other half off free and clear, which means you have 10 doors that are producing, at that point, probably $1,500 a month. That's $15,000 a month after all your expenses, your taxes, your insurance, your upkeep. That's not a bad retirement. That is a good subsidy to what you're already going to be getting from your 401k and Social Security and all that. So that's really the goal of our mastermind. These are the folks that we're attracting. I think we have a couple guys that have some really big portfolios, but no one's coming in saying, I want to buy a 250-unit apartment.
Yeah.
Because they're successful. They're an attorney, they're a doctor, whatever. They're like, I don't have time to do that. How do I invest in that, or how do I figure some stuff out? It's like, hey, we got plenty of investment vehicles, and we'll talk to you about that. But what we really want to do is set you up with this 10-house strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do that over the next 5 to 7 years.
Well, here's kind of the dirty truth about large apartment complexes in Texas. There are very, very, very few of them. Like, there's this whole idea, like, you're sitting in the room, and I've been in the room. There's 800 people in the room, and you're learning about investing in apartments. And there's a guy with a flashy suit on stage, and he's talking about how we're all going to get rich, and it's all great. And then you start doing the math. You're like, well, how many large apartment complexes sell in a month in Texas? In Houston, it's about 7.
Yeah.
Dallas, it's about 5. San Antonio is about 3.
Dallas is done. Right? All those apartments have swapped in the last 10 years.
Well, that's
many times.
And so now you brought up a really good point. So let's say the entire Texas market is 20 large apartments a month.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem. There aren't any what they would call value add deals out there.
Not a lot.
Everything else is like a yield play. It's just
mm-hmm.
It's literally buy an apartment complex and repaving the street and hoping you get another $10 a month rent. And oh, there now we made another $1 million. It's like, yeah, I mean,
those low flow toilets.
yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, kinda, but not really. I mean, I'd much rather buy a property that needs a ton of work. We're getting a 50% discount. We'll do a ton of work to it. We'll bring it up to. That's why we're so huge on small apartment complexes.
And I'll be advertising Mexican toilets.
That's right.
Not low flow toilets. I have Mexican toilets in there.
Is there like
you're gonna love my apartment?
19 gallons of flush, right? It's like draining an aquarium every time you flush the thing.
Yes.
If you guys missed our Mexican toilet show, you can go back last week. Rob was schooling us on on the Mexican toilet embargo in Southern California.
So good.
There was they were letting all the drugs through and illegals, but they were like, these Mexican toilets cannot get through.
No way. Toilets cannot come in. And nope, not letting them in.
These guys like carrying Mexican toilets across the border through like the desert there in Southern California.
Toilet coyotes.
Yeah. What would you pay to get this toilet across the border? My family needs this toilet.
Anyway, so it's hard to get into that large apartment space, right? And so what really happens is what that room is really about is just getting you to invest in their projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
and we're not opposed to that. We
do the same thing.
Same thing, right? But at least we tell people.
Yeah,
this is what's happening.
Yeah, just want to let you guys know. We haven't said this in a while, Rob. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. We do this radio show for deals and money.
Yes, deals and money.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. This is not Jason and Rob don't show up 20 minutes late every morning to this show simply because it's an ego thing. No, we're here for deals and money. It's great to talk to you guys. It's good to meet everybody on the.
We love everyone.
We love everybody. Yeah. It's great, but we're really looking for deals and money.
Yes.
You got any deals for me? You got any money for me? It's that simple. So.
Really, that is easy. People just like to make it more complicated.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I actually am looking at 2 large apartment complexes right now. We might walk one. We might walk 2 on Thursday. So I don't know what your. I know you said you were going to Corpus, but 90+ unit, and then the other one's the other one's a small one. I think 12 units. So
we'll take the 12 automatically. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a guy reached out to me. He said 60 of the 90+ are vacant. And
that's what we want.
I'm like, it better be cheap, bro.
Yeah.
That's a big carry.
Mm-hmm. Huge carry.
That's a huge carry, and I got to fill 60 doors. Plus, probably got to get a CO, got to do a lot of rehab, which we're totally cool with.
Yeah.
But
we're set up for it.
Yeah, we're set up to do that kind of construction. But I'm like, it's got to be a good deal.
Yeah, that's our next hire too. We're going to be hiring a design person and a design/procurement.
Oh yeah.
Kind of get into this right now. Like, my joke is, every rock star wants to be a musician, and every musician wants to be an actor, and every actor wants to be a musician.
Mm.
Well, every agent wants to be an interior designer.
That's right.
Right? And because 10% of that job is super fun.
That's right.
It's amazingly fun, right? It's lots and lots of fun, especially if you love shopping. I mean, you may even push it. 15% of that job could be just pure adolescent fun.
Yeah, let's go spend some money and make it pretty.
Yeah,
right?
That's going to be great. However, the other 85% of that job is about paperwork and negotiating price and understanding the supply chain. Right? An interior designer has to be more proficient at the supply chain, in my mind, than aesthetics.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Right? And if they're not, then they're really not an interior designer. They're just playing at it.
Right.
That happens all the time. And so, I have an interior designer degree. I do interior design. Oh, great. Well, it's where's your, let me see some of your palettes and stuff like that. Well, I'm also a real estate agent. Okay, so what are you
doing?
So I really want someone who just understands design, and I don't care really how much experience you are, because the negotiating stuff is going to have to be taught the way we like it to be done. So we are looking for someone to help us with design and procurement. I'm going to tell you, 10% of that job is fun, and 85% of that job is paperwork.
Yeah, it's paperwork and procurement, right?
Yeah, so if you're just looking for a job that's pure fun, that's not going to be ours. This is Robert Jason. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We have more than enough qualified candidates for the transaction court.
Good.
Today we just have to figure out what do we bill each transaction in-house and then out-of-house. Can't just pay her. We need to make some revenue.
Oh, of course. Everyone is here to make us money.
The other thing I was shocked was how many real estate agents, how many people have a real estate license to just work other jobs. It's kind of like you walk in, guy's a manager and he's also an attorney. You're like, well, why don't you just be a practicing attorney?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you managing a sweatshop in Elizabeth, New Jersey? There you go. Yeah. Try not it in the morning. All right, guys. Kind of wrap this all up with Airbnb, and that's pretty critical for us too. Is that interior designer is going to be picking furniture for us, coming up with color palettes for the beach, for the Heights, and for other places we do Airbnb, making sure that we're all on the same page. And again, 10-15% of that is going to be super fun, right? 85% of it we're drilling down. Does Sherman Williams have a better coat than Bear, right? How do we know? Well, where is it going? Is it better paint at the beach where there's going to be higher moisture levels? Which one dries faster? Like, going into all those details makes a really good interior designer. And then applying that interior design to the beach houses, right, to our Airbnb is critical. And of course, we'll offer that for our mastermind, right? So they can come in and they can work with their interior designers to really sort of figure out, hey, what's the best color palette? What's the best furniture? What are we really looking for? And at the end of the day, that's the extra. I'd say that's probably worth about 20% of income on your Airbnb. Having a professional designer, professional stager, not just that, but picking the materials and furniture that have durability. Right, so it's like, do we want to buy something from Amazon or like IKEA, or do we want to buy some piece of furniture from North Carolina that we know has got a 20-year lifetime on it, right?
Yep.
It's got a 10-year warranty no matter what. And so that's what someone who does design, interior design, spends their time on. And we're looking to hire that person because we believe that they can pay for themselves within 6 months.
Oh, easily, yeah.
So that's our next hire. If anyone out there knows anyone, again, 10-15% fun, 85% like serious paperwork, negotiation, supply chain, real stuff, like real stuff. Because everyone gets pissed at us, like, oh, I do this, Jason, I do design. Why didn't you call me? I'm like, well, can I see your color palettes? Can I see, who are your suppliers? Where are we at? What's the supply chain at? No.
Bring your portfolio.
No, Robert, I do interior design. I get it, but who are we using for the couches? Who are we using for this? What's the warranties on these stuff? No, Robert, I do interior design. I'm like,
no, you don't.
No, I'm telling you what an interior designer does.
Yeah.
Why aren't you listening to me? So, no, I want to come in because I can pick the best pictures and the best colors. And you're like, yeah, I don't need that.
Yeah.
That's then 10-15% of the job.
I need a professional.
Right. So again, kind of pulling back the curtain here and showing a mystery. We're not just a bunch of monkeys, right? So we really want to dig deep into this stuff. And again, if it's the fact that the color scheme at $250 a night is better or more, again, we know our guests, so we can ask some questions. Is better than the one that's only getting $205 a night, then we just go in and repaint.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
See if that's the factor to start raising the price.
Or is it crown molding? I mean,
right,
what is
right.
it, right?
Is it crown? Is it stainless steel appliances versus black appliances? What's the number? What's the factor? Can we try? And again, we'll never put our finger 100% on it, but if we can identify some key indicators, then we can make some adjustments.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I wonder, too, if we could look at the guests that are staying there and say, hey, you want to bring some other friends with you? We got this other one's right down the street, right?
Right, really smart. Hey, if you have anyone else wants to come, we got another one right down the street. There's a lot of that back office. So, and George is really smart. So he says, hey, you set it up as a front desk. So it takes the calls and all the inquiries are coming in, right? And then there's the back office, someone who manages the rehab, someone who manages the cleaning, make sure that's all taken care of, the maintenance and the cleaning. And then there's this other person over here that figures out the pricing.
Yeah.
Right? That manager of the pricing and why we're not making as much money, what's the problem, why aren't we getting all 5-star reviews, that person is critical.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of do that person as a group. We sit down and say, hey, let's think about what we're doing here and start moving forward. So, again, we're really just 1 year into the game here in Texas, and I'm liquidating everything in the Northeast because the prices are just too high.
Mm-hmm.
Can't ignore it. So we really are just in year 1 of that business.
Yeah.
And so we're now getting into year 2. We'll start building some more systems, and hopefully year 3 we'll fine-tune it and see some really massive profit margins. That's really what we're going for.
Well, what's fun, too, the beach house business is pretty fun because a lot of times these families rent a property. If it's a property they really like, they rent it that same time next year.
Yes.
And you get this repeat business, and you're just like, it just churns.
Oh, we're going to do a banner season is take a picture of the building, and in January, send that postcard. Looking forward to seeing you this summer.
Yeah,
right?
This house misses you.
Yeah, we miss you, that type of thing. So, again, listen, I'm not trying to make it complicated like you shouldn't do it. I'm telling you that you should join our mastermind because we do these things for you. We're figuring out the matrix, if you will. This is what we want. This is the furniture we use. These are the colors we want. You can plug right into that, right? So if you're interested in that, 281-401-9008, 281-401-9008. We're going to, at the core, get you 10 properties that we'll appreciate over the next 5 to 7 years. And if we want to take a few of those as Airbnb, well, then we're doing a massive amount of research. It's not just, hey, join my Airbnb class. I'll teach you where to buy furniture. That's easy stuff. It's the drilling down. Right? It's the really drilling down and taking hard looks at stuff and saying, hey, is there a problem with this? Is there a problem with that? And really, we're not going away. So we have time to really ask those questions every time we meet. Every other week we sit down and talk about Airbnb. Hey, what detergent are we using?
Yeah.
Someone complained about itching. So, all right, so is there some detergents that are more sensitive to others? Because it ain't bugs, right? We have a bug guy in there every month. Kind of take that off the table. And this is the things that we do. So you are welcome, if you join our mastermind, to come into our office and sit down and go through this stuff with us. We're open that way.
The funny thing down there at the beach that we're dealing with right now is the furry comforters.
Right.
And how hard it is to get, we're dog friendly, right? So we've got some people bring 3-4 dogs. What we found on the vacation rental side, if someone's taking their dog with them on vacation,
they're usually pretty good too.
They're a pretty good dog. They're like little humans, right? So, but some dogs shed and all that stuff. So we're having a heck of a time getting some of the just a little bit of dog hair out of these.
So we don't buy them anymore.
Yeah, we don't buy those anymore. Yeah.
Pull those back. Yep.
They get furry, right?
Those will go in the box for the homeless pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're spending the time, we're spending the researching and spending the money. And so what we're trying to do for our mastermind folks is really sort of take away the scary.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Hey, we had 30, 40 people on last night. They all want to do Airbnb. Only 3 of them were actually doing it.
Interesting.
And it's like, okay, I get it. I get there's scary. There's a lot of unknown. So if you do have the time, again, I'm going to say it's about 25 hours a month. So roughly 5-6 hours a week that you're going to have to dedicate to this. You're going to have to make a trip out there at least once a month just to kind of make sure it's updated. Again, we don't want to go to hotel rooms with lots of scratches and chip paint. You're going to have to take care of that stuff. But we'll show you how to put your own team on the ground, or you can leverage our team to a certain extent. We don't want to manage your properties just yet. But just yet.
That was a little Easter egg there, huh?
We really want to fine tune it. I want to be able to go out to the market and say, we are the management company that takes care of that extra 20%.
Yeah, we're better than anybody else.
We're better than anyone else. Yeah, we want to be there, but we're not there yet, right? But while we're learning and figuring all this stuff out, if you're in the mastermind, you're welcome to come in and figure this stuff out with us. And if you haven't joined the mastermind yet, then do it. Go to our website, mrtxre.com. MR is in Mr., TX is in Texas, RE is in realestate.com, mrtxre.com. It says mastermind. You've heard us say it over and over. It's $10,000 the first year, $7,500 the second year, $5,000 year 3, $2,500 year 4, and it's free thereafter. We watch in for 5 to 7 years. It's not too late. We'll see you there. Hey, this is Robert Jason. Thanks for joining us today. We are teaching Airbnb.
Yes.
We're happy to.
Happy to do it. You know, it's funny when I hear people like, hey, I wish I had met you guys years ago. I'm like, I wish I'd met me years ago.
Yeah.
$10,000 mastermind.
So that's a good one to drop in our. That's not.
What?
Hey, look on San Antonio, Austin, Dallas for our Saturday show.
I haven't heard anything back.
Oh wait, I'm sure August, September, everything gets shaken up.
Well, you know, it's funny. Whenever you talk to the radio people, like, you know, it's an election year. I'm like, it's an election year every year.
Yeah,
like, I get it. Like, the salespeople, well, you know, inventory's tight. It's election year. I'm like, what? You know, the billboard people tell me the same thing. Like, well, you know, it's an election year. I'm like, I still drive around this town. I don't see that many billboards being used for elections. But you guys tell me the same stuff every year. Whatever. You know, one of the years it was when Super Bowl was here, and I was like, just take all my stuff down.
Yeah.
for like the 2 weeks before and the 2 weeks after, because I'm not.
Right.
And of course, Super Bowl is actually 2 weeks long. A lot of people don't know that. Super Bowl's 2 weeks, so yeah, just take me off for those 6 weeks.
Sponsored by Mr. Texas Real Estate. Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Radio Network with Mr. Texas Real Estate.
Are these your own, Rick?
And Mr. California.
You bring these in from your house?
No,
You have them here?
they were from here, but they threw them out, so I took them home and fixed them.
Do what?
He fixed the headphones.
I fixed the head. They threw them out, so I fixed them.
I put
Now I have my own.
Oh,
set.
that's funny.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it was just the connection needed to be replaced.
Yeah, exactly. But it's hard to do.
See, it helps being an engineer.
It does.
Like, I gotta fix that, no problem.
Can't hurt you.
I'm looking for. I was telling a story earlier. I had to go to Home Depot. I'm looking for a snap ring tool to put in my. That we're about to get real Texas. I got a toolbox just for my gun stuff. So I needed a new one. Went to Home Depot. I love the.
Oh, that's what you're saying. That little $7 toolbox.
Yeah, the little toolbox. It's like $8. It's awesome.
Got it.
I almost ran it through the bid room just to see if I get it for like $5.
That's funny.
But I was like, I don't want to deal with it. I'll pick this thing up. So then I was looking for a snap ring tool. So if you guys are familiar with snap rings and lock rings, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, how fortunate am I that I had to help my dad fix all this stuff. I built my first car, actually, my dad and I built. So I'm like, how fortunate I could just walk into Home Depot and go, all right, this is not the right size. Okay, now and I went to the auto parts store across the street because I'm like, surely they have one. They actually had one at Home Depot, but it was for all different sizes, like $50. And I'm like, I'm not buying. I just need a real, just one to keep in the gun toolbox, right? Not to keep in, like with all the other tools, right? I just want to have this little box. So, anyways, I was like, how great is it? And Rick was telling us about how he was fixing some stuff here at the studio to be able to sit down and go, oh yeah, you just do this, this, and this, and boom, move on, right? It's that story you tell. We have at our new office building, we had a problem with our gate. We got 2 gates, motorized gates. Right. That you have to use a key card to get into the employee parking, right? Employee and staff parking, and called a gate guy out. And our guy Ron was like, he came out and literally flipped one switch. Right. Charged us, I don't know, $200 or $300, whatever it was. Right. Reasonable price for it. And he's like, man, all the guy did was came out and turned a switch on, charges $200. I'm like, I said, yeah. And you're lucky he didn't come out and go, well, it needs a new motor, it needs this, it needs that. I'm like, trust me, keep this guy on the short list of guys to call. We have a problem with stuff. It's like, how nice is it when you deal with a real professional and walk out there and go, guys, you don't need this. You just need that, turn on, you move on, right? And we were talking earlier about one of the biggest challenges that we have. A lot of folks that listen to the show have joined other programs and they've listened to other real estate shows and that sort of thing. And they're like, man, I wish I found you guys sooner because now it all starts to make sense, right? Right. And I'm like, yeah, I wish I found me sooner too, right? I mean, it's like, I wish I had that experience sooner as well, right? Yes. Because there's a big difference when you walk out and go, oh, do we need a new gate motor, or do we just flip the stupid switch, right?
Do I go out and buy? Should I be buying in San Antonio, Robert? Where do you live? Here. Well, do you have boots on the ground? Not really, but I know I can get a management company. No, then you shouldn't be buying in San Antonio.
No, why don't you just buy here?
What's wrong with here? I can't find any deals. What are you talking about?
I just pull up MLS. How many deals you want?
So we locked one up for $98,000. We're pretty happy about that one. It should, if we put in the Section 8 right, it should get $1,350. If not, it'll get $1,250. Perfect. It's a 1% rule.
Good little deal.
Yeah, great little deal. So why are you looking in San Antonio, right? So why are you doing this stuff? And again, part of our mastermind for folks who don't know. By the way, this is Jason Robert from the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. This is we have a company called Mr. Texas Real Estate. Just assume that everyone knows that, but there's probably some dude driving through for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
like looking for Hannity, and then he finds us. And what are these guys talking about?
Who are these two people?
Guns and Tesla.
Yeah.
So for us, we have this mastermind where we bring folks in and we really work with them to build that 10 house package, whether it's duplexes or 3 units or 4 units, whatever. Just get that first. Get it all straightened out, optimized, and then move on to other things, small apartments. And if we have to do some Airbnb along the appreciation, that's great. And so when we look at our mastermind, it kind of looks chaotic from the outside. Oh, those guys are teaching Airbnb. Oh, they're teaching small apartments now. Oh, they're doing a crowdfund. Oh, they're doing. It's like, no, we're really not.
It's not as confusing. It's really not.
It's really not. And I know because we're talking about so many different things that for folks out there that might be thinking about joining, it seems a little intense and scary. And it's not, because here's why. 5 to 7 years, Jason. We're not asking everyone to do all this in the next 90 days. It's a 5 to 7 year run.
Let's talk about going to college. The vast majority of you guys that are listening to the show went to college.
Absolutely. About 82% of you.
The first day you guys went to college, it's a big campus. Yep. There's all these people. Mm-hmm. It's kind of scary. But what's the first thing they give you when you walk in the door? They give you the degree plan. In fact, they probably don't do this now. I mean, I'm kind of dating myself a little bit, but they hand you that catalog of courses.
Here's everything you're going to need.
These are all the classes you're going to take over the next 4 years.
10 credits or
whatever it is, yeah. To be conferred as a baccalaureate after hopefully 4 years, right?
You get the rose?
Do you get the rose? Oh, yeah, that's
baccalaureate.
Baccalaureate, yeah.
Oh, that's a bachelor.
That's a bachelor.
Yeah,
sorry. Did you see my post on Facebook? The Corona's Not Real starter pack?
Yeah, I saw it. It's awesome.
Oh, people are getting all offended. I'm getting messages now.
The one guy's like, hey, shut up, stop trolling, go back and buy houses. I'm like, no, I got too much to deal with right now. Let's keep trolling.
Yeah, keep trolling. Rob's got too much.
3 more weeks of trolling so I can get caught up. Thank you.
Did you see the guy last week? I put something in there. He goes, stop trolling, go buy an island. And I was like, yeah, that's not a bad idea. We're working on it. We own like 10 doors in that island right now. I'm trying to buy the rest of it. So anyway,
you go to college.
So you go to college, you get this degree plan, right? And it says you have to take these classes in this time period. You have to get this kind of grade. But they don't just stop there. When you go to the class, what happens? They give you a syllabus.
Mm-hmm.
The syllabus lays the groundwork for a successful completion of that course. Not only give you a syllabus, they tell you this is what's going to be on the test. We're going to give you some instruction. Our mastermind is no different.
Yep.
Some people are at graduate level, meaning they're taking classes to get their PhD. Mm-hmm. Some folks are just starting out.
Yep.
But nobody gets left like, now, occasionally, and it's totally okay, folks wander into the PhD section of the mastermind, right?
Yes.
And they go, whoa, what is going on here? And I'm like, it's not for you yet. You're welcome. You're welcome to listen to this discussion, but it's not going to make any sense right now. But that's okay. Like, graduate level physics is very different than Physics 101 for the non-science major, right? Yep. It's like, we're talking about some stuff that's going to seem crazy right now, but it's going to make sense in about a year or two.
Yeah.
So the mastermind is designed just like that. So we get on the radio and we start talking about syndication, building lines of credit, doing all this other crazy stuff, and people are like, what is going on? I just want to buy a single-family house. I'm like, no, it will make more sense as you get into the business, right?
And again, for us, we're trying to combine all that stuff because we're doing it ourselves. Right, we are absolutely doing it. We've taken it on the chin with some failures, and we've leaped in joy for our successes. And so we can share you that knowledge with you guys, help you the pathway right, and that's what we kind of do. Like, hey, man, you want a non-QM loan? Here are the 11 things you have to do to be prepared for a non-QM loan.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know any other group that does that because we're all focused about the success, right? Not the dream, the actual success. And so for our group, we're sort of very grounded, and we're absolutely taking on those challenges and moving forward. And again, the blessing of time, 5 to 7 years. Not a lot of folks in our group ready to retire in the next 2 years. They understand that time is a valuable ingredient to all of this. So, Jason,
actually, you want me to tell you a dirty little secret?
Yeah.
Most of the folks get into this business and they get bigger and bigger. Like, I'm about ready to retire. I'm gonna buy some more. That's mostly what happens in our group.
That
So,
will not be me. All right, we'll be back.
oh, we got some trolls on the YouTube. I like it.
So,
This guy's talking trash about you.
me?
Yeah, sitting in your chair.
I need a chair?
You need a chair.
Maybe.
Dude, that guy just nailed that median. That truck, he just slammed right into it. It was pretty funny. I can watch the traffic. It's kind of fun. I get to see the same cars every day.
I like the people on the roof. That's my thing.
Yeah, where'd the roof guys go? Huh? They haven't been here for like a week.
It's too hot.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, like, doing roofs this time of year, that's
Tough one, man.
awful. Gotta be awful.
I had a branch fall on my roof and I went up and it was murdered.
Oh,
Cutting that freaking branch in the heat.
My dad was a roofer. I used to start with him at 4 a.m. in the morning.
jeez.
Hey, when you're talking about a snap, are you talking about a circlip? The internal?
Yeah, the internal one, a little snap ring.
So you just use needle nose pliers?
Oh, yeah.
Long needle nose.
Yeah, but you know what? It's on a gun, and I'm just like, I really like the right tools, and like, yeah,
I got you.
I'm real weird
Harbor
about that.
Freight, man.
Oh, you know what I should have
Oh,
done
that's a
there?
great idea. Yeah.
I ordered it on Amazon for like $14.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'm real particular about like the
I
bike
understand.
stuff and the gun stuff because it's like
I understand.
dealing with all those pressures and
It's just like electronics, man. The right tools make all the difference.
oh my gosh,
Sure.
it just.
There we go. Let's do this.
You guys ever want to see me throw a grown man fit? It's not having the right tools for the job. I go apoplectic. You know what this radio show needs? More cowbell. More cowbell. I actually had cowbell IPA last night. I need more cowbell. I had plenty at that point. I got motivated last night. I pulled the deck out. I started mixing for about an hour and a half, and then I was like, "All right, time to go to bed."
So I got lost for about an hour on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know where I started, but I wound up at Quadrophenia from the Who. My favorite
Oh,
song.
there you go. Oh, you didn't research mud flood?
No, I did not. But what I did was I started going into it, and then up comes Roger Daltrey now does a YouTube channel, right?
Really?
Yeah, so I'm watching him, and I'm looking, I'm like, who is that? Who is that? Finally, I realize it's Roger Daltrey. I'm like, oh my God, he's not the Roger Daltrey of my childhood. So then I start looking like, I'm like, all right, let me see what these guys look like, right? So I'm watching them 2015. There's a Hyde Park concert, and I'm like, Pete Townsend still looks a little bit like
good.
a rock star, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, let me see the Stones. No good. And then I'm like, let me see the Eagles. No, I'm going back. Oh, I think Pete Townsend won.
Yeah.
He has won the Agent Rock Star competition.
You know, and Alice Cooper still looks pretty good. He's another one
I'm
that's
not sure he ever looked good to begin with.
Well,
but
that's true, but he still looks like-
when you start down here,
yeah.
it's not much.
You know, a little funny tidbit about a guy like Alice Cooper. He was, wild into drugs, women, and booze and all that
Of
stuff.
course.
And you know what saved his life? Golf.
Oh,
Of
really?
all things. He got into golf and just like
Sure. To be
sobered up
obsessive,
and everything. Yeah. So he's got one of those personalities, and he's like, I just got into golf, man. I just got clean, bro. And you're like, really, golf? So you can imagine Alice Cooper out there on number teeing off on
What's
number
the
one.
word? Well, the word for like when not limping, but he's sort of like Igor, right, from the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How did that kind of walk? So seeing him out on the links with that sort of.
I got that shuffle.
Creepy shuffle, yeah, creepy shuffle.
Oh man, I had a great story and I just completely forgot. Something that's happened in the last 24 hours I'm going to share on the show.
But all I remember is Igor.
Igor, there you go. Yes, Igor. It's pretty funny. Mud flood. I'm going to give you guys a little mud flood update. So, buddy of mine, you and I both know, he's a partner in a big commercial real estate brokerage.
Yeah.
He calls me yesterday as I'm listening to music. I'm driving around. If you guys missed it yesterday, I looked at our, what I call Big Purple and Sexy. That's our triplex in Edo that you don't, how can I describe how beautiful this building is? You're driving through Edo and you see this purple glow off in the distance. That's our property. It's right there in the corner. It's a triplex and it's gigantic and it's purple. It's right on the corner. So I pulled up to this thing. I was like, whoa, Terry wasn't kidding. This thing is purple. So in any case, I was on the way. I was running around doing Facebook Live and showing you guys our property online. And I get this call. And all I hear is, Bible, you SOB, I spent an hour on YouTube researching mud flood. And he's like, this has got to be the craziest stuff I've ever heard. So if you've not seen it, he's like, I can't believe people believe this nonsense. And what's so funny is then we started talking about sinking buildings. So we were sharing stories about how, a lot of people don't know this, if it's not built on bedrock, especially here in Houston, buildings actually sink if the foundation's not designed right. And what's fascinating is really old buildings, because the foundations were not designed for this kind of climate, sink all the time. Like it's not an unusual phenomenon for a building to sink. So we started trading stories about all that. But he's like, man, I spent like an hour researching this mud flood stuff, and the things that people were saying was absolutely hilarious. So if you guys want to go down a rabbit hole, and then come out of that rabbit hole and go, oh my gosh, what did I just read? Mud flood will drive you nuts.
Well, I'm going to tell you where it all ties in, and it goes back to our childhood. If you remember the Land of the Lost.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Marshall, Will, and Holly
on
a routine expedition. Greatest earthquake ever known. They actually went through a time portal. And while everyone believed they went into the future, they actually went into the Earth's past.
Oh.
And the Sleesaks were actually a very high intelligence civilization. And if that was the Earth's past, then there was a great civilization prior that ran right alongside the dinosaurs.
Oh, interesting.
That a lizard-based life form became a very high working, figured out wormholes and all kinds of very, very tough physics and analytics and numbers like that. And so they figured it all out. And the Sleestaks were actually the guy who like talked to the guy who was smart. I forget his name, but the Sleestaks that were mindless, just walking around trying to eat everyone. They were the guy's future. So there was a civilization on the decline.
Interesting.
So I think it's all been Sid and Marty Krofft were the original mud flood folks, and they took this and built out a TV show from the 70s.
That's funny. Well, technically, if any of these guys come up with the mud flood stuff and can say, well, Star Wars actually happened in the past.
That's correct. So did Battlestar Galactica.
It did.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a good one. There's a good show I haven't watched in a while.
Oh, did you finish it?
Oh, yeah, I watched the whole thing.
So
the new one.
Oh, yeah, the new ones, yeah.
So absolutely incredible. And it's like, where did all those actors go? Because they were all so good.
But that was some of them are around.
Katie Sackhoff's still around. She's doing some Netflix stuff.
I forget the Asian woman's name, but she was on Hawaii Five-0.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
A couple of those guys, the guy who played Balthazar shows up. But they're this sort of that B-plus actor, right?
Yeah.
B-plus TV actor, where they're just, anytime a new sci-fi program shows up, there's odds on they're going to be in there.
They're going to be in, yeah.
They're going to, there she is, right?
Well, it's funny. I was a religious watcher of Stargate and all the different iterations of it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny when you see those guys pop up in different. Oh, I love it. It's great. I got to see the premiere of Stargate when I was in high school.
Wow.
And I went to the movie. I won like tickets on a radio thing, and I just remember watching. I'm like, spaceships in ancient Egypt. I'm like, this is awesome.
Caller, you'll get your.
I know. I called in, and they were like, "You won." I'm like, "Oh, this is so great!" You know, they had like 10,000.
There's like 10,000 tickets. Hey, you won too. All right, you won too. Hey, you won.
But I remember watching the previews for it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And then you go back and you watch that movie, and look how many stars are in there.
Of course,
James Spader was in it.
Sure.
Who turned out to be, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one of those weird sci-fi where it's like they're landing spaceships on the pyramids. Yeah. I'm like, this is cool. A little outside the box for you. So we talk about lizard people and mud flood. I believe in Stargate long before I believe in mud flood. I mean, Stargate actually makes sense. Mud flood doesn't make any sense to me. I'm lost on that one.
I don't know.
Along with the QAnon crowd and all that nonsense.
I've said it before, right? H.G. Wells said that the human experience is constantly searching for this mythical cave of knowledge. Mm. And when you finally get into the cave, it's pitch black. And when you light a torch, the only thing you see is your own hand. Oh. Right? So that was a really great H.G. Wells, and I'm sure I butchered it, but that was the really good H.G. Wells thought, because it clearly was not the quote. Right. But we are that knowledge, right? We just have to figure it out. But we like to believe that there were smarter people because, man, you've got to justify your existence somehow.
That's true.
And for a lot of people, existence sucks.
That's true.
Buddha says, well, life is suffering.
Well, you look at the American, the experience outside the United States, and it's like, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah. Hey, Robert and Jason. So on that happy note, we'll be right back. Robert and Jason here, Texas Real Estate Radio. Bottom of the hour?
Yes, sir.
Such a good song.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let you talk.
We're definitely going to have cigars in the studio when we're playing music like this.
Yeah. I got a big leather couch I'm bringing in. It'd be awesome. I'm going to put that leather couch right next to the plants. It's going to be a little jungle right by the couch.
Oh, that'll
be great photo shots.
So we've got, I'm mentally doing a countdown. So we bought a building. We got a bunch of new listeners on here. So we bought a building. We're turning it into the Texas Real Estate Center. And we're, how far along would you say? 80%? 90%?
80% is a good number.
80% through the rehab.
There's phase 2 and phase 3.
So we built a whole new studio there. And I'm mentally counting down to the days I can bring my smoker to the office and start cooking. Start getting to work. So we're getting tomorrow.
Well, let them get through the parking lot,
Yeah, because it's going to be I have all these guys, these work guys, who are like, hey, man, what are you cooking over there? I'm like, nothing. You need to get to painting.
You saw the racing stripes, right?
Yeah, I saw the racing stripes. So we got racing stripes on the building. I didn't think the building needed to be painted until we started putting paint on it. I was like, whoa, it's as bright. If you've been in a freshly painted pool with that's in the middle of the sun with the beautiful water reflecting on top of it, that's what it reminds me of. I'm standing in the back of the building in our secured parking area. I'm looking up and I'm like, this reminds me of a really well done pool. Like, it's just so bright. Yeah. So it looks good, but it's just huge, big, huge wall of white. We got to get our angel wings on there.
Got to get the angel wings, yeah. Mm-hmm. Do something like a greetings from Houston.
Yeah.
Picture. Bruce does. Yeah, it's as white as that white roof.
Yeah, it is.
It's super bright.
Super bright.
Yeah.
So,
carpet's in. Some of the vinyl is in. They should be starting painting. They were priming the second floor yesterday, which is twice as much as what it took to do the first floor. So, yeah, I think they should be mostly done with painting by the end of this week, and the flooring guys should be able to move upstairs pretty quickly.
Okay. Yeah, they whipped through that vinyl stuff in the carpet. Boy, new carpet. It's not a smell I'm a big fan. I'm one of the few people that does not like new car smell because I know what that smell has in it.
Sure. So let me explain what's happening.
Okay.
So what you've basically told people who are on the in is those guys bought cheap carpet
Oh.
because they're using Chinese glue that off gas.
China glue.
So yeah, so we are our carpet has a 10-year commercial warranty. We didn't go with the 20-year commercial.
Oh, that's funny.
So the gases that you're smelling are coming from the glue and the adhesives.
Ah. Yeah, whenever I get a new car or truck, I park it in the driveway, just crack the window, maybe an inch or two, turn the heater all the way up in the middle of the summer and come back in an hour. Yeah, like I'm like, just get this stuff out of here. It's awful. So so
people like that because they're essentially huffing.
That's right, yeah. So they're getting high.
They're getting high, absolutely. Yeah, that's why you like them.
Oh,
I like that smell. I bet you do.
Yeah.
You like to smell model glue?
Yeah. Only in a paper bag.
All right.
I love it in a paper bag.
So
I smell it all the time.
Yeah, we're good. New doors came in. They look fantastic. Very happy about that. And then we're getting the glass partitions. Those are probably 10 days out or so. Which then, of course, immediately made me realize this is one of the other things we're doing. So you may or may not understand, we have a construction business as well. It's massive. We just don't advertise it. We really don't take on any other clients other than us and our mastermind. But we're at the point now where we can become a window and door distributor.
Yes.
So again, I need a designer to come in, start working with the manufacturers and getting this stuff done. But yeah, I looked at the cost of those doors and I'm like, man, I could have got them. We spent $12,000 on doors. Yeah. I was like, we should have easily got this for $8,000. And that motivated me. I'm like, oh, how many doors am I buying? Just today, I dropped $2,000 on interior trim to 2 different projects that were kind of right at the same point. So I'm like, God, gotta hurry up with these doors and windows.
Just need you remember we were talking about getting that warehouse on the other side of 290.
Yeah, we certainly need some warehouse space. We could drop a trailer in, our parking lot's big enough, but we want controlled environment. We need air conditioning. Basically, we need moisture removal from anywhere that we store this equipment. And the problem is when you go to that level and you start buying things in bulk, you're going to get damaged products, and that's the problem, right? So there's going to be, you really have to be at the right point in your business to start warehousing it. I know people think it makes money, but there's an inherent number of just loss on it because of damages. Not that anyone's stealing it, they're just damaged, right? You don't have a big warehouse system with forklifts, everything set up like Home Depot. You're kind of doing this off the floor on pallets, and people step on stuff, and you've got so much of it trying to get to the back, and so you start losing stuff that way. So you've really got to be, if I bring this product in, is it 20% more to the bottom line? And if it is, then that means I can give up 10% of that, right, to the sort of lost stuff that we're going to have. Yeah. And then you sit back over the next few years and figure out, okay, how do I reduce the loss prevention? What is my loss prevention here? How do I skew this numbers back? How do I only lose 5%, 4%?
Well, what's funny is I'll hear guys that'll say like that have owned construction companies like, well, you don't really make any money doing that. Like it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, well, it depends on what your volume is.
Yes, of course.
I mean, we're gonna buy $1 billion over the next 10 years. Yep. How much of that is going to be rehab?
Right.
$250 million. So 10% of $250 million is $25 million. It adds up real quick if you're doing the volume.
So if let's say we're going to do $500 million in houses, let's just call each house, I don't know, call every million, we'll call that 7 houses. So we're going to do 5 million, so that's 5,000 doors. It's 35,000 doors, 35 times. Yeah, 35,000 doors, and everyone's getting 2 toilets.
Yes.
and I can save $30 a toilet.
Yeah,
$70,000 times $30.
Yeah,
right. Is it worth the $2.1 million? Yes, it is.
yes, yeah,
yes, it is. But only when you start dealing with those types of numbers. So, again, this is kind of stuff that we do at Mr. Texas Real Estate. We're really happy to have that building. We're definitely going to get a warehouse space. We're definitely going to get a designer. We're nowhere close to stopping. We're just beginning. We're in year 2. We're happy about that. And I think I don't want to pat myself on the back too much here, or pat you on the back, but we've been smart on the hires.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things I was thinking about this morning was we've only hired people to make us more money, not to alleviate our job.
Yeah.
We haven't really – I'm working more and you're working as much, and I'm like, I haven't hired anyone to take over what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Still pushing hard on that. But what I've brought now people in, and we've brought people in, and you've interviewed folks, we're interviewing more folks. How do you make us more money?
Yes.
Right? And again, in our world of these real estate investing professionals, I think a lot of folks are just looking to offload their workload.
Right.
And that's not a good strategy.
No.
Not a good strategy at all. In fact, you want to keep your workload at your pace for as long as possible. Robert, you're going to get burnt out. That is absolutely correct. I will get burnt out. And then will it be a short burnout and come back and do it? Or will it be, okay, hey, it's finally time to hire a true COO?
Well, you just go to Disney every other month.
Right. So, yeah, I can't wait to get the YouTube and the cameras up because we're going to be entrepreneurs at Disney.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, a little fun there.
Entrepreneurs at Disney. When is your Disney trip coming up?
There's many.
I know, but the first one, the next one coming up, it's got to be in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks, yeah.
Okay. You guys will see Robert at Rob and Catherine at Disney running around. Thanks for listening, guys. We'd love for y'all to join our mastermind. We're actually out there doing it. Just go to website mrtxre.com.
We'll be back after this commercial. Thanks. One more to go. Yep. That Devo song?
What?
That Devo song, Gut Feeling?
Yeah.
Pretty with that. I haven't heard that in a while.
Okay.
Hang on, let me
do
my job first to know.
Yep.
I'll do my next step. Ooh. It's only 11 seconds of it. But
that's all right. I didn't find something else.
It's enough to come in. See, it's real short.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Last one.
Rob, that is indeed a Dead Kennedy shirt.
Yes, of course. Hey, California Uber House. Do you have California Uber House? The second Dead Kennedy song you play.
Right here.
All right, bring us in with that.
All right.
The drums.
So demanding.
I know.
Sorry. Someone recognized DK. I'm like, I got excited. Oh! 80s.
There it is.
Actually, if they knew we were playing a song, we would be sued, or at least get the cease and desist. Joe Bill was pretty strong about, hey, don't use my stuff.
Ooh.
I know. And we're complete sellouts in real estate. Buy stuff, yeah.
That's funny. Well, it'd be interesting because we're making this transition to YouTube, like how exactly that works, because I don't know. Because the radio station pays for all the stuff, so it's like, can we then rebroadcast? I don't know.
I think we have to register ourselves under, what is it, NASCAR? What's it called?
I can't remember. It's one of them.
We're going to have to register ourselves.
It's not that expensive. I've looked at it before.
The registration is going to be more than we're going to pay for the nickel every time we play a song.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's something. I remember we had to go through this at
NASCAR.
Yeah. We had to do this for our live events. We had to go and pay for it because we were using music in our live events. I was like, okay, but that was not terribly expensive. I thought it was
It's
pretty
not.
funny.
You just do it.
Part of the deal.
I know.
Part of the deal, right?
Let Journey make their 25 cents off.
That's right. Yeah, they'll get it.
Yep.
Journey. We don't have a big Journey fan in here.
Anyway, guys, if you're listening, you probably are a real estate investor, thinking about becoming a real estate investor. And again, it's not as scary as you think. We don't obfuscate. We don't make these things really confusing for you. So you just keep paying us money. We have one price. We have one product. It's on our website. Check it out, mrtxre.com. MR is in Mr. TX is in Texas. RE is in real estate. mrtxre.com. It's called the Mastermind. Love to have you in. And again, we've got some folks in our Mastermind now that are really pushing it.
Yes.
Like 80, 90, big time net worth, right? Like real big stuff. And now it's about, hey, man, we've really got to get you to do this. We've got to tweak this. We've got to look at this. We went over on our little mastermind call. We do one once a month. I went over the built out this little tab on our mastermind doc. This is the structure. This is how you do it once you hit this. But we have a lot of folks who are like, hey, I don't have an S-Corp yet. You don't need an S-Corp.
Don't worry about it.
Just go get 3 houses in this LLC.
Yeah.
Right? Go get that, and then we'll worry about that stuff. And again, in year one, you're going to be tweaking. That people are going to come to your house, live there, and they're like, hey, this doesn't work because you do the pre-move-in checklist. You can check it out. You're going to do all this stuff anyway, so it's going to be a little extra expenses. Don't worry about it in that first year, and then we'll move on. But again, if you're coming to real estate with I'm going to do this for the next 5 to 7 years, it's a much, much more realistic, manageable, right? And I think the expectations then become achievable.
Yeah.
And so that's what folks we have to really sort of drill into folks is this is a 5 to 7 year. Everything we're talking about here happens over 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hey, let's just buy 1 to maybe 4 houses this year.
Yep.
Let's get 1 a quarter. Just buy a couple of houses. Like let's not set the world of work on fire that first year.
Nope.
You get 1, get through the rehab, it gets rented, or you Airbnb it, then you get the next one. There's no reason to there's no reason to reinvent the wheel here. Now, we got a handful of guys that are real go-getters, right? They go out and buy 4 and 5. And one of the guys in our group is like, Jason, you told me to do, buy, what did I say? Buy everything inside 99 below 100 grand.
He did.
And he did. Like the next day, he was in a meeting in our office. He's like, hey, man, I took your advice yesterday and I bought one yesterday. I was like, good.
Several.
Yeah, several. Then he just kept buying them.
But for us, what we're going through over here is the next 90 days is there's spaces available in our office that we've got to fill, right? Again, not because we want to work less, because we want to basically start really tweaking our model here and excelling at profitability. So we're still in growth mode, but at some point we really got to tweak it all so that this stuff is firing and producing cash every single month. And the first person is a transactional coordinator. We've got a lot of hits on that.
Yes.
We've got some people, MBAs, like perfect. We want really smart people around us. Doesn't mean because you have an MBA that you're really smart. You can be disciplined, but you can be really smart and not have an MBA. So anyway, I shouldn't have. So you even said that. It's known. But next, it's probably going to be for our construction side is a design procurement person. Really drilling down and making sure we're getting everything that we're supposed to be getting out of our suppliers and understand the supply chain. Where's the grant really coming from? Where's the quartz coming from? It's coming from China. Oh, okay. So
China.
We see a big international problem with China. That means where's our second set of quartz come from?
Yeah.
Minnesota. Excellent. Great. Things like that to really keep us going. Because I hear people all the time, it's like, oh, man, they're 6 weeks behind on that. I'm like, well, where's your second and third suppliers?
Right, yeah.
Oh, okay. You're not really a contractor. You're like, I get it. You're the 80%. Got it.
Yeah.
Totally got nothing wrong with that. And then after that, we're probably going to be looking at a media producer to kind of steer the ship here across all these platforms, everything we're doing. So it'll go up under marketing, but we really need someone who's proficient at public relations, media, and being a publicist. That's kind of what we're looking for.
Getting us on shows.
Yes, that's the next thing. Yep.
Yeah, getting us in front of the local news.
Yeah.
But who else would you call for real estate commentary, but Mr. Texas Real Estate, right? Like,
yeah.
why do they have all these other guys on the local news talking about real estate? Come on. Why Mr. Texas Real Estate there?
And again, at the end of the day, why are we doing this?
Deals and money.
That's it. It's this whole reason you should be doing everything.
Yeah, deals and money.
Deals and money. Why you should join banner season. Why you should be doing Facebook Lives. Why you should be going to events. Why you should be expanding your network. Why? Deals and money.
Deals and money. In fact, it's kind of funny. It happens on my Facebook page all the time where I'll go out and it happened yesterday. I was walking that big purple beast and somebody said, "Hey man, I got a deal for you." And where was it? Deal for me.
If they have a problem with the purple, wait till they see the orange that goes next to it.
Oh, the orange is going to be ridiculous. It's gonna burn the bottom of that tree. It's gonna be so orange. I can't wait for the guy that rehabs the 3 on that same street, and everyone's gonna drive by our properties and go, "What are these guys doing? Looks like a Mexican restaurant." What's this guy's up to?
Well, we love it when they call our property manager or our real estate and say, look at the purple house.
And you're like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, we know which one it is, yeah. I don't want the purple. I want the orange one next door. Is that yours too? Yeah. We haven't listed it yet. Yeah.
It's funny. We did that on the first properties we bought in the Cashmere Gardens, and
I remember where we were in Port Aransas.
Yeah.
Drive around. I'm like, look at all these colors. These are so great.
And you were like, let's just go paint all the ones in Cashmere like this.
Everything.
And I was like, okay. And I was like, worst case scenario is we just paint them another.
Yeah.
And then our property manager calls us and he's like, we have people fighting over the colors over here. I'm like, hey, whatever it takes, man.
No, I want the purple.
Yeah, that's right. And then he went on this design bench for the sign, right?
Yeah. We were already full up before.
Yeah. The property was essentially we turned the entire property over.
Yeah.
But we turned it over so fast that by the time he got the sign order, it was already 100% occupied. It was pretty funny. He's like, guys, this sign, like, you don't understand how much traffic this sign's going to bring. And it was like, before they even got it in the ground, the property was already full. It was like, well,
we got 13 more in that area to do too. And they're all going to be those. Now, some of them are brick based, so what we'll do is we paint the base brick white. Do the upper part that color, so that'll be fun. But yeah, so there's a lot going over there. So again, join a mastermind. Start doing your real estate. If you want to learn, figure out how to hire best for your team. Again, it's going to be what makes you the most money, not what frees up your time, right? Because you've got to put your head down for 5 to 7 years.
Right.
So that's kind of the takeaway here. But we appreciate all you guys hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you. Make sure you go to YouTube, Texas Real Estate Radio Network on YouTube. Subscribe, please. Set your notifications. We're moving everything we do over to YouTube. All right, guys, have a great, great night.
Thanks for watching, guys.